love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always
Namaste friends. In today's lecture, we are getting into the loops. We know what a loop is, getting into the loop and stuff of that nature. So from the loop, in my understanding, it is we are actually climbing up the slope. So hang in there. So this is chapter 15 and this is if then else. So what is an if then else? If this condition, then this, else we have a different way. If I have this, I can do it, else I can do some other thing. This simple concept, we are going to see how to write a Python programming. I'm excited, so let's take a deep dive. As mentioned in today's lecture, it will be like, we are getting into the loops. So the loops is like, there are various different kinds of loops. The loops has been in existence since, at least in my understanding, from C, C++, stuff of that nature. There is an if then else loop, there is a do while loop, and there is a for loop. So in the loops, like what is actually important is here where you'll actually start putting your concepts and logic into picture. So this is quite an important lecture, and going forward only start getting complex and steep. Okay, after all the loops we have functions, arguments, lambdas, whatnot. So we'll be only climbing up the steam from now onwards. So I would definitely encourage all of you to actually watch this more diligently and practice each and everything, and then have your own examples and then keep trying. Some of the problems that I've actually faced with the loops is initially while starting is two things, right? One is to think of the logic, which I can actually help you to visualize how to do it, but you have to your everybody's problem is unique. So you need to actually formulate your problems and you need to write it down. And that is I can actually help you visualize like how I did, but everybody's problem is unique. And the second thing is writing the syntax. Okay, so writing the syntax plays a very important role, because you might have the best of the logic, you have actually written it every correctly, but somewhere like an indent or some command you would have actually done it something wrong, which will actually give you error, and that will actually make you doubt or question your own abilities. So it will be only coming through practice. Let me actually give you that thing. So having said that, let's actually take a deep dive into the world of loops. So the very thing is the if condition. So what are all the condition? If A is equal to B, so that is double equal to. If A is not equal to B, if A is lesser than B or greater than B, or lesser than equal to B or greater than equal to B. Okay, these are all the conditions that we have actually seen on multiple areas. Okay, so we will be also seeing these conditions here. So what else is here? So we have some languages which is like Python programming, and we want to see this. So let's actually try each and every of this command, and let's see how it is actually giving. I've actually typed in this command here for because for my understanding and for my notes, so that things become a lot more easier for me. Okay, so that is why I didn't copy paste this time, because there can be some characters which can actually cause some syntax error. So the first thing I'm saying is if A equals 33, if B equals 200, and if B is greater than A, print B is greater than A. That is the case here. So let's see. Bingo. So the next one is this one. They actually say it produces an error because the A is 33, the B is 200. And why would it even produce an error? I'm slightly surprised. I think it's an error from my side, so so don't worry about it. This is not here, so this is an error from my side, and my apologies for the same. Let's actually go. So there's something called as an LF. So LF is something called as an else if. So what does it say? Basically what it says is if A equals 33, if B equals 33. If B is greater than A, no, that is not correct, because B is equal to A or A is equal to B. If B is greater than A, print B is greater than A. LF. So else if, we would have actually heard the word else if, but in Python it is LF. Okay, there is something called as a elf, right? So this is LF. Okay, if LF, if this is a condition, print they are equal. So I have actually written down this here. So let's actually see how this works. And that is So in this case, what I've actually done is I've actually given b is equal to 200. So I actually slightly changed my syntax, but let me actually give you another one here, and let me actually give you the same 33. So let's actually see what is actually happening. Yeah, a is equal to b. So I actually changed it there. Okay, so we actually tried two things here. All right. So having said that, let's actually move. So we have an elif and we have an else. So there are three conditions here. The first condition is if b is greater than a, that is not the case. Are they equal? That is not the case. Then you need not even specify the condition. It says a is greater than b. So let's actually see whether I have this command. Oh boy, I don't have this command. But what I can actually do here is alright, what I can actually do here is I can type this down, right? So let me actually do it here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is my a equals 200 or 300, whatever it is. My b equals 33, and then I'm saying I'm actually going to say this. Okay, is this a case here? Yeah, it is a case, more or less is a case. And then what I'm going to say is, this is where the syntax comes into picture. Else I'm going to say, so else is an indent. So this is where the the conditions actually come into picture. So the moment you give the indent, this is what it is. Else what I'm going to say is a is greater than b. So let's actually see what is actually coming. Yeah, a is greater than b. So this is exactly what we did. So I didn't fear by looking into the new one. I just took this and I have this, and that is what I also did. Okay, that is exactly what I did. Now this is more or less the same. We actually tried it. So let's actually keep moving. There is something called as a shorthand if. So what did we see? We saw, like, if we just take it here, we saw conditions. A is equal to b, else b is equal to a. We can also try with or and or not. We will be trying that same as well. We tried with elif, we tried with else. So in the same place we gave like some three conditions. Okay, so that is what the maximum is 3. So that is what we tried. Or else. So elif actually comes as a sandwich between else and the very first one, if. Now that makes sense, right? It's a sandwich, as I told you. It is elif. So elif comes after if before else. Alright, because this is a command that we have to know and settle this thing, that if you actually figure it out, you will know exactly where to use it. Alright, now the shorthand version here is, if a is greater than b, print a is greater than b. Now let's actually try one command here. Okay, or maybe one or two commands, and let's actually see here. Okay, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking this, and since we have already worked on this, my a is 2, my b is 330. I'm saying print a, capital A, if my a is greater than b, else print capital B. So the answer is obvious, it should be capital B. Let's see. There is a syntax error. It says like invalid, not printable. Okay, that is okay. So what I will do is I'll say a equals 2, my b equals 330. I'll say print a if a is greater than b, else I will say print my b, and let's see what actually comes here. See, now it actually gave the answer. This is what happens, if as I initially remember, I told you the first is the logic, and the second thing is like correcting the logic and how to put as a syntax. So this is why I keep writing it here, and this is what I also told you. Okay, So if you want, let's actually do this thing here where I can take three things and let's actually see the values here. Okay, so I'm saying A is greater than B, which is correct. C is greater than A, which is also correct. Okay, so what I will do is, this is a shorthand, right? So I'll say A equals 5, B equals 2, C equals 10. If A is greater than B and C is greater than A, I will say print both conditions are correct. There is a syntax error, and where is the syntax error? In this line. And why is that syntax error? Maybe this is an indent. Maybe it's an indent. So after indent, usually it actually comes here. Yep, this is exactly what it is. See, as I always say, don't fear for the failures. Okay, don't fear for the failures, or don't fear when something comes as wrong. If you have done something wrong, which means you've actually tried something new but it didn't work out at that time. So that is the way I would actually see it. Now let's actually move here. As I said, like, we have an OR condition and then we have a NOT condition. So we need to try these as well, because we tried this thing. So this is the same thing. Okay, if A is greater than B, which is true, or A is greater than C, print at least one of the conditions is true. Okay, so this is the same thing. So let's actually take it here, and then what I say is, if A is greater than C, or C is greater than A, which is correct as well, but what I will say is, or if B is greater than A, I will say at least one of the condition is correct. So this is what, right? So A is greater than B, but B is not greater than A. Or what I can actually say is, or if B is greater than C. Okay, to bring in all the three. Now let's try. See, at least one of the conditions correct. Now let's try a NOT. A is 33, B is 200. If not A is greater than B, A is not greater than B. Okay, fine, this is true. So what I can do is, I can take the same thing. I don't need this. If not A is, I can put this as 10. And then I can say print A is not greater than B. So yes, the A is not greater than B. So this condition actually satisfies. So it becomes true. So it becomes right. So A is not greater than B. See how simple is this? As I said, like, you need not complex yourself. Just like, go with it and do one by one, and then boom, it is all done. Now there is something called as a nested if, and then there is something called as a pass statement here. So let's actually go to the nested if here. I have an x equals 41. Is my x greater than 10? Yes, then print above 10. If my x greater than 20, yes, print above 20. Else, print not above 20. But in this case, everything is there. So this is where the nested if is coming. So one x, another x, so there's nested, right? So this is where this is actually coming. Let's see the answer. An unexpected indent, this thing. So not sure where exactly he's actually expecting. So maybe I would actually put my bet here, but let's see. Yep, this is exactly what it is. All right. So above 10 and also above 20. So the first two conditions satisfies. So when there's a pass statement, if B is greater than A, it's a pass. Okay, let's actually see that. So if this is the case, yes, it is true. And so the indent box, so basically it is going to come over here, I believe. Or maybe here. If there is no syntax, then it is what it is, right? Let's actually try pass. Very simple. See, now it is passed, so it is not printing anything because I've not asked it to print, and that is what it is. All right. Now let's actually take few more examples. A equals 50, B equals 10, print this thing. So let's actually take this. Okay, let's take one example, or let's take a bigger example. Else if, let's take a bigger example and let's actually dissect it. My A equals 50, my B equals 10, my A is not equal to B, which I know. So print 1. So print 1 is not going to be the case. My A is greater than B, which I know. So print 2 is going to be the case. And I don't need a print 3. So my answer should be print 2. See? See, computer languages is more and more of step 1 plus step 2 giving you to step 3. So if you know like basic mathematics, you guys are good in computers. That is what I said in the beginning, and that is what even I'm saying right now. But the only thing is you have to know how to write the syntax. It's like if you know how to speak and how to speak with grammar, you are like a you're good in that language. That is exactly what is happening here. All right. All right, my friends. If you have any questions, please try this. Please try everything, and if you have any questions, you know whom to contact, and I'll be very happy to answer to the best of my abilities. Till we see in the next lecture, you take care, cheers, and talk to you soon. Namaste friends, I trust you have actually enjoyed my if then else lecture. If you have any questions, you know whom to contact and where to contact. Like always, I would like to thank two persons. One is you for giving me a golden time, and the other is my wife Jayashree for allowing me to follow my passion. Till we see next time, take care, cheers.